Right, moving on to the next one. As I was saying earlier, we're going to be moving on the fascinating culture traditions around the world. So once you say traditions, these are the beliefs of people. These are the different tradition in which one person should respect. Different traditions of different country varies. Okay, tradition in Japan is different tradition in South Korea, tradition in the Philippines. But before we go to different countries, I would like to emphasize on the different traditions here in the Philippines. Particularly, we have different festivals, and these festivals are the following. You can write this down. We have Pahiyas Festival in Lukban, in which it's a competition na kung saan they are designing their houses with a lot of fruits, and sometimes they're trying to insert some vegetables. So that is the part that is their festival. Next, we have Dinagyang Festival in Iloilo, in which the people are wearing a like igorot suit, and they have this stick that they hit the ground and creates a massive sound that catches the attention of a lot of people in dancing way. So that is the Nagyang Festival in Iloilo, and also they put on some paint on their faces. Next, we have Sinulog in Cebu. Sinulog is very famous in Cebu. This being done particularly, not if I'm not mistaken, the Santo Niño. Okay, that is related to the celebration of Santo Niño. Next, we have Lechon Festival in Batangas. They are so if you like pork, if you love this lechon, then you should come to Batangas and have a taste every feast day. Next, we have Mascara in Bacolod. From the word itself, they are featuring different kinds of mask or mascara as a part of the culture and tradition. Okay, next, and after that, discussing the Philippines tradition, we're gonna move over to the tradition of different countries. First, we're gonna have a little touch on the introduction. Each society in the world has its own culture and traditions that identify their heritage and makes them uniquely different. But some people, especially those new and foreign country, expect the locals to act and behave as they do. Okay, like language, culture, traditions, identity, a person's heritage, cultural traditions, and customs are ingrained in a person. They are practices and beliefs that are learned since birth. So as you go on, as you grow old, these traditions becomes the way of your life. And here in the Philippines, once again, most of the Filipinos, our lolos and lolas, are very superstitious. Let's say, bawal magwalis sa gabi, bawal maligo pag mahal na araw. So these are the things, these are the examples of superstitions that some of the countries are observing. So we're going to jump to the first one right away. Okay, next, we have number one. So we're gonna go into Russia. So we're going to talk about the Russian people. What do they like? Okay, so if you are a Russian business associate or a friend, be careful of the flowers you give them. Avoid flowers with yellow colors, as they represent a break-up relationship or deceit. Red carnations are taboo as well, because these are the flowers presented to veterans who survived at the war and on graves of those who have left this earth. So whenever you're in Russia, for whatever reason, do not try to give any flowers in colors of yellow or red. So as it sits there, it reminds them of their soldiers who have given their lives to save their country. So red flower is a big no-no. Next, we have what? We have the Chinese. We're gonna go to China, and we all know this almost similar to Filipinos. We have a lot of superstitions, and we're gonna tackle them one by one. China has opened its door to the West. The cultural traditions of the Chinese will never be erased. They are the ones of the oldest civilization in the world. So you have to understand that their cultural traditions were developed for millennia and handed down from generation to generation. So we have it started from Ming Dynasty, so on and so forth, and other dynasty, and they have observed it until now. And majority of the Chinese are superstitious as well and attached with the meanings of various of things. When presenting your Chinese friends with flowers, avoid using white, which associate with the ghost and death. Okay, so it's a big no-no for the Chinese to give them white flowers, associate for ghost and death. However, in the United States, white flowers symbolize innocence and purity. This is something positive to Americans. Likewise, avoid flowers and thorny stems. Okay, thorny stems on other things that good for the gifts in Chinese are. So same thing. They do not like any flowers with thorns as well. Next, we have clock. Clock, its name in Chinese, Songzong, means send clock. Sounds like Songzong or funeral rite. It is also taken to mean that time is running out. So never ever give a clock to a Chinese because it is a bad luck. Okay, for them it's a funeral, kind of funeral. Next, similar to the Filipinos, handkerchief in Chinese sounds like a farewell. So we all know, we Filipinos, we also believe in this. Next, we have umbrella. So this is something I haven't heard before, but they whenever giving your Chinese friend or colleague an umbrella is subtle hint of ending relationship. So never ever give them an umbrella because you are telling them that you want to end your friendship with them. Next, gifts that comes in set of 4. So 4 is a bad luck to them. So if you're going to give them a candy, make sure it's 3. Make sure it's 5, not 4, because it is a bad luck. Next, we have store sandal shoes. It is also taken to mean that you want to part ways. So just like in the Philippines, we do not normally give shoes, or if we give shoes, we going to ask a payment in return, just to a payment or a coin in return, just to show that you didn't give them a shoes, but they bought it from you. Green hat is considered luck by other people because it is the color of money. But for Chinese, green hat means the wife is being unfaithful, so they don't wear green hats. Next, moving on to Egypt. So Egyptians are very particular when it comes to salt. In many cultures like United States, it is alright to ask to add salt to their food, but for the Egyptians, it is an insult for them. It is an insult for them if you're going to ask a salt, because for them, it will give them an impression that their food is tasteless. It's like in a hotel way back many years ago. If you ask for the salt, that is very unethical. Next, a question of being punctual. The value of being on time depends on the country. Here in the Philippines, we have adapted the South American way. South America, which is Venezuela, okay, and other countries. Not only that, but European countries, particularly Spain. Every time we're in a meeting, we are either 30 minutes late, 1 hour late. So that's what we call Filipino time, and we got them from the South. We got them from the South Americans. Um, we got this attitude from the South Americans, or well, in which they got it from the Spaniards, in which we know that we were colonized by Spaniards for 300 years. That's why we have adapted some ways of the Spanish people. So they believe this Venezuelan means whenever they're invited for a dinner, they always come 10 to 15 minutes late. Why? Because if you're going to come on time, that means you're greedy. That means hindi ka makapag-intay. So it is it is it is more they're more comfortable to come 10 to 15 minutes early. At least they're showing the people that they are not greedy. However, the Americans are very punctual. Once you say it's 7 o'clock, it's 7 o'clock. And it doesn't mean you're greedy or something, okay? Because time is very important with this American people. Next, we have Germans and South Koreans and Japanese. It's incredible how Malaysia being 5 minutes late, which can actually extend to 60 minutes. Okay, incredible how Malaysia being 5 minutes late. So in Malaysia, it's okay to be late in 5 minutes, and can actually extend for an hour. While being worse than Filipinos, okay, they can be late for an hour. Next, okay, next is what's extreme. Okay, we're gonna go back to we're gonna go to the extreme. Before, it's okay to be late for 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Now listen to this. In Morocco, it's totally all right to be late for an hour or an entire day. It's fine for Chinese if you are late for 10 minutes, while the Mexican are Greeks with excuse for 30 minutes. So for the Chinese, it's fine for 10 minutes and 30 minutes for the Mexican. But going back to Moroccans, okay, it's extreme that they can you can be late for 30 minutes, you can be late for 30 minutes, and even for a day. Okay, external times. Extreme. Okay, just to show you the slide. What extreme is how meeting at exact time is immaterial in Morocco, where it's totally alright to be late for an hour an entire day. Okay, that is in Morocco. An hour or entire day. Ha! Interesting. Next, we have mind your table manners. In Norway, absolutely is not Philippines, in which you can use your hands in eating, but for them, you should be able to use knife and fork, which I know that is being observed in most of the countries, and of course you are also aware of it. Using knife and fork in eating is very important for these Norwegian people. Next, no to sharp objects. So, what are the countries that are against for these sharp objects? The cultural traditions of Netherlands and China are vastly different. But one thing, they are very similar, and that is receiving gifts that are pointed and sharp, such as scissors, kitchen knives. Do not forget this. Giving pointed and sharp objects to your friends or colleagues in Netherlands is a big no-no. So Chinese people and Netherlands people are the same when it comes to the perception that knives is it's not a good gift for them. It means you want to break or cut ties with them, or you want to cut your relationship, or in other aspects. Now, losing teeth in Greece. So whenever you're in Greece, in some countries like in United States, they believe in tooth fairies. If your tooth fall off, you all you have to do is to put it under your pillow, and the tooth fairy is going to come for them to take it. But here with the Greek children, they were told to toss their tooth in the roofs. Okay, here in the Philippines, when I was a child, I think my mom told me to do that as well. So it could be a so the next tooth is going to be healthier. So that's the belief. Next, say cheers but don't clink. So literally, cheers vocally but don't clink like ting. That is very unacceptable for Hungarian people. But why? Cheers is the form of success. But during the time when back in the year 1849, the Austrians colonized or defeated Hungarians, and they were drinking beers and they clinking glasses. So every time they hear this clinking glasses, it reminds them of the time when they were colonized or defeated by Australians. That's why they don't use this. They don't practice this clinking of glasses. Okay, moving on to, let me see, almost finished. Moving on to number 9, choose the right occasion to discuss for Bolivia. In Bolivia, to discuss a business in your time is limited. It will be considered rude to discuss business. So if you're going to be in Bolivia, the hosts are the ones can only talk about the business matter. If you are asked to be the guest, all you have to do is to answer whenever you are asked, but never ever under any circumstances to take the opportunity to be or to do a lot of talkings, because they will not really appreciate it. Okay, especially when you're talking business, just keep quiet, observe around, answer yes or no, just very brief whenever you are asked to have a meeting in Bolivia. Next, don't try to go Dutch in Turkey. In Turkey, they believe that Dutch is in the Philippines, that is KKB. So kanya-kanyang bayad. But the Dutch or the Turkish people in Turkey do not appreciate that. They believe if I will be the host, I am going to pay for your meal. Okay, do not insist to split up with me because you're going to disappoint me. That's how they believe when it comes to treating people. So if you like to be treated, go to Turkey. Next, avoid using red ink. And we all know this, not only in South Korea, but also in the Philippines. It's kind of rude if you're going to write down in red ink, because that means you're angry, or that means in South Korea, red ink symbolizes death. So never ever do that. Next, we have a trip to sauna in Finland. So whenever you're in Finland and you are having a business matter. So in regular thinking, going to sauna is for relaxing. But for Finnish people, whenever a person has invited you for a spa, meaning to say they are accepting your deal. You already have a deal. You already have a business. So if somebody invites you for a sauna after a business proposal, that means your business is already accepted. Keep in mind. Next, where do you sit when taking a taxi? So in all over the countries, Philippines, United States, India, Middle East, European countries, it's okay to sit down at the backside of the taxi. But in Australia, it is very unethical to sit at the backside because for them, it is so it is more proper for the passenger to sit next to the driver because these Australians are very easygoing. These Australians are very cool. Say they don't want anybody of they don't want anybody treating them like somebody superior to them. For them, it's okay. Whoever you are, whatever you do, how much money in your bank, it doesn't affect my relationship to other people. Okay, we are all equal regardless of your level in this in the society. Next, we have greeting a magpie. So in UK, whenever they see a bird which is called a magpie, they say hi just to avoid a bad luck. Hi, hi magpie, no bad luck. Next, birthday greetings in Netherlands. Netherlands. So you would not feel lonely in Netherlands because definitely if it's your birthday in Netherlands, they will greet you just like in the Philippines. Next, we have greeting people in Japan and Germany. So we know in Japan they tend to bow every time they are being greeted. Every time they say good morning, ohayo gozaimasu, they bow. Konnichiwa, they bow. Arigato gozaimasu, they bow. And in Germany, it is inviting to Germany and invited to gathering. It is a traditional to shake hands with everyone in the room. You even have to shake hands with the children. So it's just a matter of shaking hands for the German that is also being observed in other countries. But in Japan, it's more on bowing. Okay. Next, we have finger pulling in Austria. So this is very famous in Austria. You might wonder when you see Austrian men engage in finger pulling. It is actually a serious tradition, sport, and the rules of the game are quite strict. The game is called finger shake. They're just trying to literally do this just to fight. Okay. And the objective of the game is to drag the opponent by the finger across the table. So just for the sake of simple sport. The dangers of remaining single after the age of 25. So what are the odds of having or still being single whenever you're 25? Okay. If a person who's single at the age of 25 is showered by friends with cinnamon, so that is in the country of in Germany. Okay, whenever you are 25, you're being showered with cinnamon, but whenever you reach 30, okay, and you're still single, you're going to be showered with peppers. So that means you're going to be sneezing a lot. And in France, people buy funny hats at 25 years old. Whenever you're still single, at the age of 25, they will give you a funny hat. So this is something that is their belief. 19. Hold on a second. Where are we now? Okay, we're almost finished. Shoving your face in your birthday cake. So this is being observed some parts of not only in Mexico, in the Philippines we do this as well. In live action in animated films, shoving on one's face onto a birthday cake elicits a laugh. Some do it as a joke and some do it out of disgust of anger. Some might not like it. Okay, but in Mexico, it is a cultural tradition, so the birthday celebrant does not have any reason to get angry. It even follows a process. The cake is brought out. So whenever somebody celebrating the birthday, they literally is going to put the cake on the celebrant's face, like just for the sake of having fun. Next, okay, I've watched this before, and this is something that's really interesting. In Finland, you would believe that carrying your wife would be considered a sport. So you are going to carry your wife just to be, just to have or to finish the race. A wife carrying, or Hukon Kanto in Finnish, is even an indoor sport, and couples from other countries travel each year in Sonkajärvi to participate in activities started in 19th century. Since 1992, it's been called the Wife Carrying World Championship. So they are getting a big money for this. So the ones who have, the men who have a tiny skinny wife will definitely win. Just imagine the ones who have a fat wives, I'm sorry for the term, who I don't think that is going to be easy for them. So that is in Finland. Next, cutting off fingers. This is being done in Indonesia. The death of family in Dani tribe, Indonesia, heralds as a vast amount of emotional and women physical pain aside from the inevitable emotion. So they're cutting off fingers just to satisfy their ancestor, just to satisfy the ones or the relatives that have died before. They believe offering a finger can somehow ease the sufferings of their relatives who have died. It's like parang nag-offer ka ng life with them, they're offering a finger. So they're literally tying a rope and wait until it becomes numbed, and then through process it can be cut off. So this is their way to satisfy the ancestral ghost. They believe every time they cut off the fingers, they're satisfying their ancestral ghost. Okay, let me hold on. This is second to the last. We have the endocannibalism. The Yanomami tribes lives in the village within the Amazon forest, South America, near the border of Venezuela and Brazil. They are known for the tradition of cannibalism, consuming the flesh of a member. So many years ago, this has been observed. I know it's kind of weird, but it's really been happening. And there was even a movie of the Chris Hemsworth, a movie in which he was the first officer of the ship, and then their job is to get the oil of the whales, and because of that, the whales, for whatever reason, bumped into their, literally got angry and bumped their ship until it sank. And because there were the only ones there, ang natira sa kanila, there were only 5, and they tend to what happened was they ran out of food. They stayed there for a long time, and they end up doing cannibalism, because instead of surviving or instead of dying, they ask one of the guys to kill one, or to shoot one of them, just to be their food. One is going to cut the arms for breakfast. One is going to cut the arms for dinner, so on and so forth. That's how they survived for the past more than 6 months or less. So this has been happening for a long time ago. Now, living with the dead. This is the last one, I think. Living with the dead is the Toraja people of Indonesia practice a truly singular ritual exhuming of corpses of their fellow villagers. But it doesn't end there. The corpse is dropped into so they're practicing this in this village, na kung saan they're putting some clothes. And they're even trying to do a parade of their of the corpses of their relatives who have died. Okay, so that's how it looks like. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. That's the end of our midterm discussion, and next week's going to be your activities and quizzes. After this video, please stand by. I'm going to give you a short video of the new 7 wonders of nature. Thank you.